Hello there, and welcome back. It's spooky season, and you've chosen my channel. Thanks if you're here for the first time, and if you're a subscriber, thanks for coming back. I love you. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, and this is my first time seeing The Conjuring. Yeah, I'm trying to get some spooky reviews out for my blind users so they know what films are spooky and scary to watch this Halloween season, and while I do this voice, yes, I'm a blind film critic, so I watch this with audio description, which we're going to just talk about that a little bit up front, because it leans into my whole thing of why don't we actually have audio description with all titles all the time when they have existing audio description? Why can't they follow the title? Why are streaming services so fucking lazy that they can't pick up acquired audio description? Okay, so I watched this on HBO Max. I'm an American. The current version of The Conjuring that runs on HBO Max, I'm not complaining, I was perfectly fine with it, is British audio description. It's British. It's a British guy doing it, and he uses British terminology. He uses terminology that we don't use. When they go into the bathroom, they go into the loo. When they use a flashlight, they use a torch. So it's stuff that if you can just make the mental swap, they're not big deals. But they're also just terms that they use in the UK and that we don't use over here. So I hope nobody thought that they pulled out an actual fucking, like, flaming stick in the middle of a house. Somebody just, like, lit a stick on fire. And they're like, I got my torch. Let's go. Like, no, it's a flashlight. And I had no problem with it. I was just so happy to have audio description. It was not that distracting. It was kind of funny to hear those words. And I was like, oh, this is a British one. Okay, I'm good with that. I had no problem with it. And this is like totally legit. I didn't go out on the internet and find some crazy weird audio description. No, this is the actual audio description you will get if you play The Conjuring on HBO Max. So yeah, just go with it. Anyway, so the film is, yeah, obviously I've avoided The Conjuring. I don't like films with cheap jump scares. I just don't. When I could see, I have no problem with thematically scary movies, films that build the scare and earn them. And as a matter of fact, I tend to praise those films a lot, but films that just, what's behind you? What's behind the closet? What's in the closet? What's under the bed? You know, like, and then like with constant fake outs and then the loud noise and like something just, you know, like no, I don't do those films. But James Wan does. And The Conjuring is a bit of both. The Conjuring, I have to be totally honest, shows that James Wan knows he's fucking with you for like the first for quite a while. For quite a while, he's trying to build tension and build unease, because for quite a while, nothing really happens. Lots of things go bump in the night, and he wants you to be, he knows that as soon as he gives you that first jump scare, shit gets real, and he holds it. And actually, it's one of the best things he does in this film, because if he had pulled it out at the beginning, the film would just be nonsense and silliness, and I don't think people would like The Conjuring nearly as much as they actually do if this film's just a series of jump scares for 2 hours. But the reason why it has gotten so much praise is that he actually built the tension. He restrained himself, which kudos. But about halfway through the film, shit gets real, and then all bets are off. If you think something might be behind a corner, it just might be behind the corner. So, it also interweaves stories. It has the introduction of the Annabelle doll, which got its own set of films. It tells that story at the beginning, and Annabelle actually is a fairly important part of the film in a fairly creepy, consistent way. So I understand why Annabelle got their own spinoff. It's got Ed and Lorraine Newman, who are actual people, but here they're played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, and they are like a team of like a clairvoyant type, talk to the dead type person, and then somebody who's supposedly the only non-ordained person ever recognized by the church to do exorcisms. Whatever. Anyway, they're the experts, and they're traveling around, and they tell people whether or not their house is actually haunted or whether or not it's just a creaky floorboard. So they find this house that the parents are Ron Livingston and Lily Taylor. Lily Taylor definitely has a lot to do here. Does some great work. Vera Farmiga actually does some really great work. Patrick Wilson just kind of stands around and shouts a lot and is worried about her. Actually, both of the men kind of support the women more. It's really more of a showcase for Vera Farmiga and Lily Taylor than it is for Patrick Wilson and Ron Livingston. But those are kind of the adults. There are some other adults that pop up, but they have much smaller roles. And then the kids, one of which is Joey King, which I was like, oh, Joey King's in this. Cool. It's funny how time has passed. And Mackenzie Foy, who went on, who also has been acting, is in this film too. So, they have some girls, and things go bump in the night, and things keep going horribly awry, and then it becomes clear that this house is haunted. And that's why it's a spooky movie. But the house is honestly, like, seriously, deeply haunted. Like, things have been happening here for a while, so it's just been, like, collecting ghosts, demons, whatever you want to call them. It's got a lot of problems. This house needs to be burned to the ground. But when that idea comes up, Ed and Lorraine are like, no, they'll just follow you. It's like, shit. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, it does a good job. It's creepy. It's scary. It's full of jump scares. So if you like your jump scares, cool. However, I will tell you that it also uses them really effectively. Yeah. I didn't feel like there were cheap jump scares, if that makes any sense, where it's like the dog, like where it's not something that's you're supposed to be scared by, where it's something else. There weren't any fake outs. Like, all of the jump scares, I think, were legitimate jump scares. Like, they were all like, something's there. Oh shit, something is there. Like that kind of thing. It wasn't, yeah, I don't think any of them were fake outs. I'm trying to run through them in my head real quick, but I don't think any of them were fake outs, which is good because it means James Wan was not being a cheap asshole. He used his jump scares effectively. So if you're looking for a film to see, this spooky Halloween season with an R rating that's got some terrifying moments in it, then HBO is hosting The Conjuring. I haven't watched the rest of the series, but they've got the rest of the Conjuring movies and the rest of Annabelle movies, and maybe I'll watch some more. I don't have my Halloween season planned out yet, but I did want to get at least the first Conjuring off my block. I felt like it was a popular enough movie that this Halloween season I could get that checked off my list, so that way I can finally say, yes, I have seen The Conjuring. Now, I guess the only negative thing is about the audio description is that a lot of times it just kind of says what the ghosts are. And there's one ghost in particular that it just kind of describes as like hideous, but it also calls it something. I can't remember what it was called. And I didn't know what the reference was. I didn't know what type of demon ghost thing that was. I had no idea what this thing looked like. None. No idea. I didn't know if it resembled a human, if it was totally demonic. I didn't know if it had like a different, like leathery skin or red skin or, I had no idea what this one demon looks like. It's just, I would have wanted more description in the things that were supposed to scare us, especially this one thing. Oh, it's a crone. I don't know what that looks like. So when you just keep telling me the crone is there, I'm like, cool. What the fuck is that? What does that look like? I don't know what that looks like. And it appears a couple times. It's like the first time it's mentioned as being like terrifying or hideous or something like that, so that we're supposed to be scared by it, because obviously the film knows that we don't know what a crone is, so it has to put something in front of it. But there are some other ghosts. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to say spoilers, but there are some other ghosts that kind of pop up, and some of them have some description to them, some of them don't. So anyway, just a thought. I feel like if we're supposed to be scared by it, make us scared by it. Don't let the film, a lot of times the film's visual effects on these creatures is what makes them scary. And if we're not getting that translated somehow to us through the audio description, then you're relying totally on the audio, like the actor's reaction, the screaming, stuff like that. And honestly, I wasn't that scared. So I got some jumps, and I was a little unnerved by this film. But because I didn't know what was coming at them, I didn't go home and go to bed and have nightmares, because it wasn't like, that's what that was. So, anyway, just a small thought on the audio description. It has no narrator listed. It just says it's by Deluxe. So I don't know who that was, but some British guy. Anyway, I'll go ahead and grade The Conjuring. I'm actually going to go pretty solid on this one because I really appreciated how they built the tension on this. I don't think this film was cheap at all. I think there's a reason why The Conjuring was such a massive hit and why it spawned a franchise, like a literal franchise, like The Nun, and I think like so many things have come out of this franchise. So, yeah, James Wan did a good job. I'm gonna give The Conjuring an A-. So, good job for The Conjuring. Anyway, it's on HBO Max if you're looking for something to be scared by this Halloween season. Yes, I'm going to keep doing these crazy voices all throughout October so that my reviews can be spooky too. Think about subscribing, even though I'm doing the voice. And you can check out more reviews from me, macthemovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org, to see what other spooky movies out there for Halloween season have audio description and where you can watch them. And also theadna.org will let you know who's narrating what. It's like IMDb for narrators because they can't be on IMDb. So they crowdsource their own website. So you can give that a check. Until next time, I gotta go review something else, so I will see you on the other side. Although this Halloween season, who knows what that means? I'm sorry.